All right. Welcome once again to the Trauma Triple Take. We are your hosts. My name is Margaret. We have Mel and we have Amber here talking to you tonight about grief and loss. Um, we just want to hit it up from the beginning and just give a little disclaimer. Um, Basically, the Trauma Triple Take podcast provides education and conversation about trauma recovery and is not a substitute for therapy, medical advice, or mental health treatment. The opinions shared are our own, and listening does not establish a coaching or therapeutic relationship. Also, if you or somebody you know is in crisis, National Crisis Hotline is 988. So, with that, welcome everyone.
Thank you,
Welcome
Margaret.
back.
Yes,
Nice to see you
welcome.
all.
It's good to see you too.
Yeah.
How's
So,
everybody?
you know, getting through it, right?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
That's good. That's good.
So our topic tonight is about grief and loss. Just curious, what are, when we talk about grief and loss and trauma recovery, what comes to mind for you? What comes up for you when that subject arises?
Hmm. I think for me, it's I don't know, the process of it and how I don't know, there's different phases in your life where grief comes up. And I've been fortunate that I haven't had a lot of death specifically in my family, but I've had a lot of other things that I've had to grieve. And so I think that the thing that comes up for me is just the weird ways that it can show up and what you wouldn't necessarily think is grief or loss can sometimes manifest in your life.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I know, like talking about childhood trauma and childhood sexual assault and stuff. I know for me, I grieved parts of my childhood that I experienced, and then parts of my childhood that I wished I had experienced and wasn't
Right.
able to. Relationships that I wished I had had that are different than how they are, and realizing and coming to grips with the fact that those relationships are how they are, and they're never really going to meet that dream or a fairy tale that I had in my mind. That's a big way that grief has showed up for me. What about you,
Absolutely.
Amber?
Um, there's so many things, but automatically, I think the first thing is just when my dad passed away when I was 17, and that was 2004. Just because before then I had, smaller griefs, kind of like you were talking about,
Mhm.
certain relationships and certain things of being younger. Um, and actually moving from state to state, leaving behind like childhood friends and stuff was a big one that
Absolutely.
was a lot. But my dad passing away was like the first real person that I ever lost, like died in my life, besides like my great grandparents, which I was very young and it's more normal. But yeah, that was a big one. It kind of shocked me and I didn't even know how to handle it. It was a
Yeah.
big whole not great time.
Yeah.
Well, and you were so
Don't
young,
recommend.
Yeah.
right?
Oh yeah. And stupid teenager, typical, think you know everything, like just kind of, yeah, my senior year, I'm this and that and blah blah blah. And then yeah, it was just kind of a whole shock to the system,
Hmm.
Absolutely.
because it was unexpected. But yeah. And then that evolved into different types of, you know, all the stages of grief.
Yeah. So
Absolutely.
how did that look for you? Like, how did you navigate through the stages? Was it like denial, like anger, bargaining? Like how did it go? Like,
It
if you don't
really,
mind sharing.
yeah, it did all those things. Kind of quickly, and then also not totally linear though either. Um, Definitely at first disbelief, just like, no, like this didn't happen. Like they must be wrong. Like there's just no way. And that feeling of like, I know people say it all the time, but it's so true when it's like you feel like it's a nightmare that you can't wake up from. Like
Yeah.
you're just like, please let this like not be real. Please let this be just, I'll wake up and be able to be like, okay, thank God. But um and then yeah, some bargaining of just I guess I don't know, just even for wanting to go back and change a couple experiences, you know, like man, I wish I could go back and like tell him this or have this conversation with him because there were so many things that I assumed we could talk about. Some like, you know, trauma type of stuff from my childhood and just certain things that I always assumed that we would talk about in the future. Like someday we'll sit down, we can have a talk and, you know, whatever. And then, so not having that time really, that was like kind of a whole loss in itself. Like that was really hard for me to get over because I was like, I had the time, I had the chance, and I just assumed um that we'd have time to talk about it. So that is one thing I try to tell people is if you feel like if you're waiting for like a time to talk to somebody, like don't wait. It's not guaranteed, and
Yeah.
it's a really crappy feeling when you don't get that chance. Yeah, and then there was like definitely a lot of depression and anger. Uh just days where I missed school because I just didn't want to get out of bed. I didn't care. And then just angry at everything. On top of
Hmm.
being a teenager, right? The teenage
Right.
angst of just being a teenager, like
Right.
on top of that. So yeah, it was interesting.
The teenage angst is the cherry on top of that
Yeah.
experience.
Oh yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and just getting angry at, you know, people and lashing out, kind of like blaming people who didn't need to be blamed, and um yeah.
Absolutely.
And do you feel like in your journey, how was the acceptance stage? Like how did it go getting there?
Hmm.
Have you gotten there? You
That's a
know, I know it's been a long time, but like how did that go?
That's a really good question. Um, I think it's ongoing, maybe. I think that there are times where I think once I like reconnected with like my stepmom and like spending more time with like my dad's side of the family, and because me and my youngest sister share my dad. We're his only kids, and so it was really important to me to like maintain a relationship with her because she just feels like a part of him, you know what I mean?
Hmm.
Um, and well, she is a part of him. So I think I it's tricky because it's like I've been through phases of feeling like, okay, like it's good, you know. It's not like you ever heal, right? Like
Right.
you just learn how to live with it.
Hmm.
Mhm.
You come to terms with this is my reality. It sucks and I just have to kind of make the best of it that I can. And unfortunately, the world keeps turning, you know, not
Yeah.
unfortunately, but in your mind when something
I get
devastating
it.
happens, you're like, how is everybody just like continuing on like nothing happened? You know,
It
Hmm.
is
that's
such a weird experience.
it is.
Yeah.
It's so weird, and I don't think you could understand like if you which I'm sure a lot of people do understand.
Oh,
Um,
absolutely.
yeah,
But
it's
unless
definitely a
you've had
weird
that like
feeling.
disconnection,
Yeah,
Hmm. You're
of
like,
just
my world
like
has stopped. How is everybody else still going to
exactly.
mhm.
work and
Yep.
like doing the things that need done? Like I can't function.
Absolutely. I know my cousins had a really hard time with that too when my aunt passed away. Like their mom, they were devastated and very much just almost angry that the world was still going on. Like
Mhm.
Yeah.
the world just lost this amazing person and nobody notices. Like
Hmm.
it's just a weird feeling. But yeah, I think overall I've just learned to accept it, but I definitely have times where especially on like anniversaries that are big, it's been so
Yeah.
long. And it's weird because there's still like sometimes grieving things that like would happen. Like, for instance, like Adam, my technically fiance, but I call him my husband because we've been together so long. Like, you know, just wondering like what my dad would think of him, like how they would interact,
Hmm.
like, and so missing out on like stuff like that. So it's like different things that come up that he's not here for. So that those things are always harder when you think about like just wondering, how it would have been or what. Yeah, I don't know. So I guess I'm just saying that there's more smaller grievances like that go on even later because of things that change in your life, like my life,
Mhm.
that he's
Hmm.
just not here for.
Right.
Absolutely.
And that loss is still felt even over time because there's still new memories and new experiences being made that feel incomplete probably without him, you know?
Yeah. And even small things like watching certain movies that I'm like, oh, my dad, like, I bet he would have loved this.
Yeah.
And just
Yeah.
like, or like something that comes up and I'm like, oh man, I wonder what his thoughts on this would, especially like current events and stuff. Like, so
Oh, yeah.
curious, like where he would be, like what he would be thinking and stuff. So it's kind of just like that in the back of my mind all the time of just like, not all the time, but for things like that, it comes up
Hmm.
just like, I wonder. But
I think that's something interesting about grief is I think there's this idea that we arrive at the doorstep of acceptance to
yeah,
just walk through it. And then, okay, once you've accepted it, you wipe your hands clean and you're done. And
exactly.
it's like you keep arriving to that door of
Hmm.
acceptance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the Groundhog's Day of doors. You're like,
Hmm.
Yeah.
son of a bitch.
Yeah.
Here we go again.
Then sometimes you
Yeah.
go running away from it and you're like, fuck
Right?
that. Like, I just want to be mad today.
Exactly.
Like,
Like
Exactly.
two
Yeah.
yeah,
middle fingers to you, door.
yeah,
Yeah.
No,
it's
But
it's
it
so
really is
interesting.
like that where you just kind of like, and I think trauma recovery is like that too in a way where, you have initial stages of healing, but the healing is continual. And that's why I would say like you never arrive, right? Like you never like healed. You're constantly like a work in progress because that's really what we all are. No matter where you are in your life, we're always evolving and changing. And grief and loss are no different where you think you've got it together and then the next minute you don't, and you know you find things, I think, in my experience, that, like, trip you up in a way or surprise you. Like I didn't think that would bring up these feelings. It's
Yeah.
I had an experience a couple months ago. My grandfather passed away a couple years ago, and he was so, like, I loved him so, so much. And my son said something about his food, and he said, "It's cold." And that's something that my grandfather would constantly say every time I made him food of any kind. It could be fresh out of the oven, and he would say, "It's cold." And I'm like, "Pep,
Oh.
why do you say that?" And he's like, "I had the best chef in the world for 62 years." And he was talking about his wife who passed. And
Oh.
I'm like, he's like, "Nothing compares to that." And so even in his moment of eating food, he's thinking about his loss. That then my son is reminding me of mine. It's like weird, but
Yeah.
it's funny things that you don't think of that remind you of that person, and you just kind of still feel that little hole. Like, "Ooh, yeah,
Yeah.
I still miss you very much."
100%. Well, and I think it's interesting too, because like, okay, so this is a little bit of a different subject, but I was with my ex-wife for almost 15 years. And what's interesting about that loss is so we don't talk anymore. And I mean, it was an amicable divorce, but like things just separated and it was too hard.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because there's even times, even though it's been 4 years, uh, like since we divorced, I think there's still things that like you spend so much time with that person that pop up and you're like, ah, like that joke would have been hilarious to them. Like,
You would have loved that.
they
Yeah.
would have loved that,
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
like, oh, like this reminds me of that particular thing that happened that one time. Like, you just end up carrying these moments for people, like these little gems, and it happens with everybody that you create relationships with, right?
Yeah.
And they get sprinkled throughout your life. And I like it's such an interesting thought of like the price of joy,
Ooh,
like, is kind of grief. Like,
yeah.
that you had something that meant something if you
Yeah.
grieve it, and that
Yeah.
if you feel like it was a loss, like, or if that at least meant something to you.
Yeah.
Even if you're grieving a childhood that you never had, like you're feeling that loss because that meant something to you. That idea meant something. And so it's just interesting how we end up, I don't know, cultivating lives around joy and like the idea of joy, knowing regardless of what happens that we are going to have to experience grief at some point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's an inevitability. That's the only thing guaranteed is death and taxes, right? Like that's kind of the joke of it, but it's the real at the same time. The reality, I should say, that we all experience it. We're all touched by it. We will all inevitably die alone. We can't take anyone with us on that journey. So it's something that affects everyone, and yet we all process it differently. So you see in movies, in real life, in your own experiences, there's so many different ways of handling the same loss. You could have a funeral home full of people, or you could have private losses that don't involve death that, some people might not understand how
Yeah.
you're processing that. Things might not look, like you said, linear. So, give me some commentary on like different ways that you guys have seen grief expressed, or different ways that it could be misinterpreted.
So I have a really good example.
Yeah.
My grandma died about 5 years ago, and on my mom's side. And we had a very, I mean, she was my grandma, but like there was a lot of generational trauma on that side of my family. My mom
Yeah.
and her did not get along, understandably.
Yeah.
And she was not necessarily the nicest lady. Um, she told my mom she loved her one time in her entire life. Like, she just was very cold. And like when she passed away, it was, I mean, she had her moments of happiness. Like, not everybody is straight faced. I don't want to like make this idea that she was never a happy person.
Right.
She had obviously moments, but like she was a hard person to know. And what was interesting is when before I knew she was going to die at some point, right? Like, she had been in kidney failure for quite a few years. And so it was kind of a matter of when, not if. And like she was on oxygen, and like, but that woman lived out of spite, I swear. Like,
Yeah.
she made it through COVID. Like, it was wild.
Yeah.
But so I knew she was going to pass. It wasn't like it was a surprise. But when I found out she passed, I was I I started laughing hysterically, which is awful. But like, I couldn't figure out why I was laughing. And then I started crying. And then I'd move out of the crying back into laughing. And it looked like I was losing my mind.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. I probably looked a little psychotic in that moment, but it was really just the only way that I knew how to process it. Like, it was such a visceral thing. And so like I didn't realize how much I was carrying with that. Like,
Yeah.
this
Right.
this person that had created so much,
Yeah.
like that had been passed down for so many generations, had finally passed away. And
Yeah.
it was like this swirl of like being cathartic, but also like she's my grandmother, and feeling like this guilt around feeling like not feeling bad but feeling bad, and like
Yeah.
how much she had caused in our family, and how much could have been prevented if she had been more healed. And so it was just a really interesting swirl of emotions, but very unexpected. And then I ended up you know that song ABCDEFU?
Yeah, yeah.
Like so I was sobbing off and on for quite a while and like doing the laughing sob thing. And so I went for a drive and I flipped that song up super high and I was just crying and fucking shouting that.
Oh,
But it was
yeah.
such like, oh, it was such a weird experience to even go through and like to wake up the next day and be like, that was fucking weird. Look,
Yeah. What
I
did I
don't know
just
what
go through?
happened there, but
Yeah.
that was interesting. And then like, I had different moments where it wasn't as like fresh and I did cry a little bit more, but like it's still somebody that even when you have this like contentious relationship, it's still somebody that you shared a life with and you shared part of yourself with. So even in that, it's still a loss. And I think that's an interesting side of grief that we don't talk about a lot is like even when you don't necessarily have the best relationship, there's still a part of you. And you still, a lot of times, even if you're angry, you still can grieve their lack of existence or their sense of being gone. But I think that's, just such an interesting experience.
Yeah. Do you can I ask, do you think that to me it seems like there could be a lot more anger in a situation like that because like you were caught off guard and the crying and stuff, but it sounds like there was some like relief in the fact that she passed. So like do you think that maybe there was also more anger because it's like I had all these feeling like I was convinced I felt this way about you, but I'm angry because like I'm also crying that you're gone. Like I just feel like that there, like you said, there's just so many like conflicting emotions, and so like I just think I guess I'm thinking about, for me, like I could see myself being like pretty angry, like
Oh, yeah.
at even being upset in the first place.
I
Right.
think that it was an interesting, okay, something to know about me is I really struggle with experiencing anger. And it doesn't feel comfortable for me to experience anger. A lot of times it gets pushed into a different emotion. Anger
Yeah.
doesn't feel safe. And so when I get angry, I sometimes I wonder if that's what the laughing is. I know that laughing is normal in like a nervous system response.
Yeah.
It can happen. It's just a thing. But I think that my system is like crying doesn't feel okay, but being angry doesn't feel okay. So like what's the next option?
Yeah.
I think it lands on laughing. Like, like okay, this is where we're going.
This
But
is what I'm doing.
but I definitely feel like there was some anger. There was anger around like the experience that my mother had and then the experience that I had in reflection from my mother and just the entire system that she had created, like that they never really grew from. Like whatever her experience was growing up, I know very little. I know it wasn't like an amazing upbringing. I mean, it was, 1920 something, I think, or 19, no, not 1920. That would make her 100, like 1940s. But
Yeah.
like it wasn't, there was a lot of things happening back then that weren't really regulated or anything like that. So, um, but it was like this, I don't know. I wanted to be angry, but I couldn't be angry at the moment. And so
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel a little
No, that
lost.
makes sense. No, yeah, just that you have trouble experiencing anger, so it sounds like it kind of comes out in other ways that you're more comfortable with, like laughing, which is
Yeah.
sometimes me. I I'm more comfortable with anger, like than like what you're saying. But sometimes, like when I am really angry, I'll cry, and then also sometimes when I'm really trying not to cry, I'll laugh. Like it's
Interesting.
Yeah, I don't know. There's an uncomfortable, oh wow, uncomfortableness.
Yeah.
Okay.
Uncomfortability? No.
Yeah.
I think like I
A
don't know.
discomfort, if you will.
I don't think
Yeah.
Webster's in the comments.
Anybody got a
Oh
better
wow.
word out there?
Anyways, no, you guys, yeah. Like if I feel too much discomfort, with the feeling, and I feel like it's overwhelming, sometimes I will, like at a wedding, my cousin's wedding, wanted to cry. I felt really emotional, and then I just like busted up laughing, like in the middle of the ceremony, and I had to like actually get up and walk away because I was like, this is so inappropriate. Like, it's they're gonna be like, what is she high? Like, what is she doing? But it was just like I felt so emotional, and
Mm.
instead of crying, it came out as laughing. I
Yeah,
don't know.
because
So
that's
yeah,
what was safe. It kind of takes the path of least resistance sometimes, I feel, right?
yeah. So just relating to, definitely, we just kind of
Have that
react
experience.
however our bodies see fit, I guess.
But the point being is that you did release those emotions, and that's kind of like I want to say like the important part, the nugget, because
Mhm.
when you don't get those emotions released through, grieving in or happiness in that situation or whatever, might not have been happy, I don't know, but like whatever that situation was, um,
I was
it gets
happy.
stuck in. Okay, good. It gets stuck in your body. It truly does. Those
Yeah.
emotions get stuck in the body, and so then that it isn't able to work its way out, and then it manifests in different ways, and it's literally trauma. So it's an important thing to realize there too, that even that like what people in society may consider inappropriate like displays, but they're not, they're very appropriate and normal,
Mhm.
displays in those situations are still super important because it's still getting that energy out, which is what needs to happen.
Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Can I just say too, so the first time I experienced the laughing thing, I was 16
Hmm.
and I was walking home with some friends. And okay, I'm smiling right now, but this is not a funny scenario.
Okay.
Uh, but my friend got hit by a car.
Oh my
And
gosh.
yeah, he went up over the hood and into the ditch.
Oh my
And
God.
I could not process that moment.
Of course
And
not.
so I was unfortunately laughing hysterically when it happened. Like, I'm asking him if he's okay,
Hmm.
obviously. But
Yeah, yeah,
like,
yeah.
my brain cannot process what just
It
happened.
just went the
It was just
other
like,
way.
boop, and it
Yeah.
went completely offline. But I felt so bad about it
Hmm.
after the fact because he never talked to me again.
Oh no.
And I mean, I understand. Like
Yeah.
I think that if I was his age, because he was younger than I was, I think he was 15. But if I was somebody that just got hit by a car and the person that I was with was laughing hysterically
Yeah,
after I just
Yeah.
got
I get
flipped
it.
over a car, like I can understand,
Yeah.
especially being that age, why he wouldn't understand, even as an adult.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just
Like
not the expected
it is not,
reaction.
but
Yeah.
it is 100% what my nervous system just decided to do,
Yeah.
unfortunately. And I think it's that same reaction when we watch people like get hurt on TikToks and stuff or like
Mm.
on reels. And we're like, we chuckle about it sometimes when it's like, a lot of it's not getting hit by a car. It's like,
Yeah, yeah.
you accidentally stubbed your foot or something. But
Hmm.
it's on that same like
Yeah.
wavelength of, I don't know, disbelief kind of. You're like,
Hmm.
oh my God.
That's a
But
good point.
it
Yeah, for
was
sure.
it was such an interesting experience and like the shame that came around that
Hmm.
and like feeling so bad and not understanding why I responded the way that I did.
Hmm.
Like, oh, I don't I just want every teenager, if you're watching this, which you shouldn't be, but if you had that experience, that is not unusual and it is a normal
Yeah.
response.
So your friend was okay though,
Yeah, he
or
was
like,
fine. He had a couple
okay,
bruised
okay,
ribs. Like
okay.
he didn't break anything or like get any cuts or anything. He he got up and walked away after that. So
Okay.
he was okay. It's not like he died. Like that would have
Yeah,
been a very
lucky. Yeah, exactly. And you would
different
not have been
situation.
laughing then. We will guarantee. No,
No,
that's not what we would do.
no. I think it was
Yeah.
just that initial shock. And then I saw him kind of like get up a little bit.
Yeah, yeah.
And I was like, oh, okay. Like I think that
You're
my
good.
brain just went straight for like that was an experience. Like
Yes,
what do we do
exactly.
with that? But
Exactly.
it
And I
was
think you bring up a really good point too about like the shame of that. Because I think
absolutely.
whenever we don't like display the typical like grief response or, loss response, full mourning and everything like that, that people assume you don't care or
Yeah.
Yes.
assume that, you know, just some kind of malicious intent, I feel.
Hmm.
And then obviously we internalize our own emotions too and our own actions, and we're like, why don't I display the normal thing? And then it becomes this whole other like shame point where now it's like if you have issues with self-worth and all these other things, that just amplified it. And it's
Yeah.
just
Absolutely.
exactly what you said. It's your nervous system responding.
Hmm.
It's nothing more than that. It's what feels safe in the moment to express because of what you just witnessed.
Well, and what's interesting too is there's such a huge narrative on social media around like what is the proper way to grieve. I don't know if you
Right.
guys have seen it, but like this idea that, oh, it doesn't even seem like she cared, or like,
Right.
clearly they weren't actually in love because, she's not grieving enough or he's not grieving enough, or like
Yeah.
they just expect them to respond in a specific way. Like I feel like
Yeah.
most of the population assumes that grief looks like just sadness, right?
Hmm.
Like how Sharon and Kelly Osbourne were when Ozzy
Yeah.
died.
Mm,
Like that was a classic typical display of grief.
yeah.
Hmm.
But not everybody responds that way.
Hmm.
And there are people that respond by moving into other relationships really quickly because
Hmm.
that feels safe. There's people that respond by reclusing and not talking to anybody. There's people that respond by just taking action. Like, and that can fluctuate throughout many different stages of grief.
Yeah, absolutely. And that brings up a really good point of the immediate thing that comes to mind is like the busybody, right? Like constantly, you're like the rat in the wheel, like just constantly moving, trying to keep busy so that your brain doesn't think about what
Yeah.
you just experienced. And I think like especially when you lose someone, there's that time period of kind of like having to make arrangements and like having to talk to people and like you have there's like this sense of like you have to do these things, right, in order to like move the process along, which I personally feel like is a cruel joke. I feel like there should
Right?
be just some magic button that you touch somewhere where somebody does the thinking and the paying and the calling for you, and you can
Yeah.
just process what the hell just happened to you. Um, but I think there's some people that just really like get caught up in I have to do this and I have to do that and I have to do this. And I get it. I get it because sitting with the silence of processing what just happened, that can be so heavy. It can be something a lot of people aren't willing to look at yet. It takes a long time
Absolutely.
sometimes.
Absolutely. It really is. Like oh my gosh, COVID made it so much worse too. If somebody,
Hmm.
so my ex's dad passed like
During COVID.
during COVID. It wasn't from COVID, but
Yeah.
during that time.
Yeah.
And it was so hard because he was in the hospital and we couldn't go
Hmm.
see him.
Yeah.
And we basically had to have them take him off life support while we
Hmm.
were on the phone with him.
Hmm.
And like it's such a weird experience during like that. Okay, well, now what do we do? Now we have to call a funeral home and then arrange a pickup time to be able to have a safe window of when we can meet them so that we can
Hmm.
get that done. And everything was done over the phone. And it's like, okay, you have to contact the funeral home to have the hospital make sure that they're in contact with them so they know to pick up
Right.
for transport. And you have to do it within 3 days because they're like, we gotta, we can't
Yeah.
have him here. Like, and so it's just such a, I guess it becomes almost kind of like the only horrifically morbid thing that I can think of right now is like a meat packing industry.
I was
Like,
thinking like, yeah, something mechanical where it's just like,
yeah,
okay, sorry for your loss, but anyway, we got to get him out of here because we got, you know what I mean?
exactly.
It's like,
Yeah.
whoa. Yeah.
And it's very, especially if you're close to the person and like it's a loved one, you're like, oh my God, like, okay, now I'm processing that grief, but I'm also having to make these arrangements. Okay, kind of off topic, but have you seen those books that they're like, oh shit, I died, now what?
No.
That's like the top of it. And it's basically what happened, what you should do if I die.
Oh,
And
that's
it tells
great.
you, right? And it tells you like where all the accounts are, like what their phone numbers
Ah,
are, like
we
who
need
the
it. I'm writing
right?
it down.
Exactly. I was like, this is a great book. Like, because it takes the thinking out of what you need to do. Like, okay, do you want to be
Yeah.
cremated? What funeral home do you want to use? Like,
Hmm.
what, what should be the next steps? Like, okay, if it's already written down for you, that's a gift to somebody
Yeah,
that,
Mhm.
it
like,
is.
that's not necessarily, yeah, sure, it's morbid, but it really is a gift
Yeah.
in event that you pass. Like,
Yeah.
help them help you. But
Absolutely. And it's a really important thing too, because I think in that moment, like you think about your loved one and you may have had those conversations, you may not have had those conversations.
right.
And so I think a lot of people are just trying to do what they think is the right thing. But in that moment, you may have no idea what the right thing is. You know,
Right.
in the end of life, I know a lot of people that I've been with and around in my work, the biggest thing is they just want people to feel comfortable and they want
Mhm.
them to know that they love them. And then past that, it's very much just like whatever that person might have wanted.
Mhm.
Some people do want to donate organs, some people don't. Some people want to be cremated, some people want to be buried, some people want to be donated to science. I mean, it could be anything. And it also, I feel like, gives you an empowerment as the person passing of like, this is going to happen regardless, but you have a say in how, in a way. You may not be able to fully in, every state decide when, but
Absolutely.
you can decide what happens after. And I think that's like really empowering for people at any life stage, honestly. I think it's a good
Absolutely.
conversation people should have at any time.
Well, and I think a lot of people too, I don't, not a lot of people get a will
Yeah.
until they
Yeah.
are older, or don't get it at all. And that's fine, but like at least have some kind of backup plan. Like it's
Hmm.
almost like giving them a booklet that is the executor of your estate. Like,
Exactly.
okay, here's every number that you need to contact because this is all the people that I, you know, owe money to, all of the people that, I see for doctor's offices, because that's
Hmm.
also another part. You have to call every dentist, every
Yeah.
doctor,
Yeah.
every person that they might have been seeing to let them know and send in that information. And if you
Hmm.
don't have that ahead of time, it is a fact-finding mission at the worst part of your time life. Like,
Yeah.
just absolutely awful. But do it.
Yeah.
Oh
My
shit, I died. What happens next?
Thank you
I was
so much
gonna
for that resource because that's a
yeah.
huge thing somebody can take away from this and just take into their own lives. What were we going to say, Amber?
Just that my mom actually has an envelope and it says just in case dot 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 and all of us like her kids know where it is and it inside has all her passwords, her bank
Good.
accounts, like all that information. So she
Yeah,
is
that's
ahead of the
nice.
game there. So
Yeah.
yeah, I just thought of that. Also, can either of you see the chat or no?
No.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Because I saw we had somebody, Christina. She said, since I've chronically struggled with depression, grieving is hard. I try to keep myself out of those low feelings because I hate feeling that way. It's not that I don't care, but I have to be careful. And then she said, if I allow myself, I'd stay in bed grieving for days, weeks, etc., which isn't healthy. And then she said, feeling things so deeply is a blessing and a curse, I swear. And I told
Yeah.
her, I can very much relate. I definitely struggle with that. Like, I'm the type of person I'm gonna be in bed for like a long time. But
Mm-hmm.
like she says though, like that isn't healthy, and it's easy to spiral through that. Like um and I totally feel when she said feeling things so deeply is a blessing and a curse. I feel that. I don't know about you guys.
Yep.
I think about that a lot actually.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So
I
thank
think
you for
empathy
sharing
is
that.
like our biggest like superpower, but also our kryptonite at the same time.
Yeah.
Because I think a lot of times when you do feel so much and you are able to connect with people at such a soul level, it's really hard to like experience all of that at the same time. It's like overwhelming feeling. It's like, we all experience this where it's just like I I just can't, I don't even know how to put words to it. You know what I mean? You're just overwhelmed. Um, so I get that. And hugs go out to you, Christina, because it's tough. It's really tough.
Absolutely. It's like you have
What's
to have
prestigious?
boundaries on your own emotions almost, like
Yeah,
to keep
right,
yourself safe. You're like, okay, I'm
right.
gonna feel this for this particular amount of time. But
Hmm.
I know if I go past this particular amount of time, it's no longer releasing the
Like
energy.
constructive.
It's soaking in it. Like
Yeah.
Yes.
I am becoming a tea bag. Like I'm just going to surround myself in the bad feelings.
That
Right.
that becomes a hard balance
It
for sure.
Yeah.
does.
Because it's like, yeah, you want to feel the feelings, it's healthy, but it's so easy to then, yeah, just stew in it and kind of go the opposite way of not healing, like
Yeah.
Hmm.
getting further away from healing. So
Hmm.
it's tricky.
It is interesting. Okay, have you guys seen the movie The Long Walk?
No, I don't think I have.
Okay.
Write it down.
I
So
don't think so.
it's a Stephen King based movie. Like he wrote the book
Oh, I'd love. Yeah,
and
I
it's a
love
movie
Stephen.
adaptation. It is very intense.
Mm.
Just trigger warning for anybody that's thinking about watching it. It is very intense. Um, I wouldn't, it's part of the horror genre, but it's not like jump scare. It's just raw.
Hmm.
Um, but basically the premise is the entire country's in poverty. And every year they boys that are 18 and older sign up and they get to do what's called the long walk. And basically it's walk until there's one man standing.
Mm.
And you have to maintain a 3 mile an hour pace,
Hmm.
like no stopping. You just keep walking. And whoever makes it to the end gets all the money they could possibly want and a wish. But the entire movie is such a great like example of not only grief and loss, but like how to see the other side of the mental struggle that is that like cave in that you experience in depression.
Yeah.
Like they do such a good job of explaining like walking, like there's this monologue. Sorry, I'm getting a little lost in it because I'm so excited about it. But there's this monologue where he's helping his friend and he's like really struggling. He's like, I think I'm gonna bow out. I think I'm gonna bow out. And if you bow out or like you stop walking, you get what they call it your ticket, but basically somebody just comes up and kills you. Um, yeah, it's brutal. Uh,
Yeah. Ugh.
but I know that's why I was like trigger warning. It's very intense. But he's made friends with this person now and he's like feeling like quitting. They're 4 days in. They've been walking for 4 days nonstop. And he's like, I don't think I can do anymore. I don't think I can keep walking. And he's like, and the guy that was his friend had struggled a lot in his life, right? And he is like, you don't think that I want to quit? Like, I got to think about the next step. It's not about if I get there, if I don't. It's about the next moment and the next moment and the moment after that. And I've been walking my whole life. Like, and just, you just got to keep walking. And
Hmm.
I'm like, oh, so good. I've watched it
Mhm.
3 times, and every single time I cried. Like,
Mm.
it
Wow.
is so impactful. But I think
Yeah.
it's just such a good, like, the relationships you build and the loss that you have along the way of, and like the journey of life in
Yeah.
general. Like, obviously in a thematic example or
Yeah.
symbolism, but um, but no, it's fantastic. And it is true though, like you have to take it moment by moment. You can't just let yourself
Oh yeah.
collapse.
That
Long
was a good.
story short, no.
Yeah. No, that was a
Yeah.
good.
No, that's beautiful though,
Yeah.
because that's how it is like when you're dealing with whether it's anxiety, depression, grief and loss, trauma recovery as a whole, if you're reprocessing your traumas, if whatever it is, taking it the next step at a time and just looking at what's in front of you, that
Mhm.
can really get you through some of those really dark moments in that, void of like going through this process. It really does, like, it gets worse before it gets better. And this is just one of those things where, yeah, you're totally right. You just have to look at what's in front of you and take the next right step.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. And that
Thank
goes
you
for
for
everything, even just doing, especially when you are dealing with like depression, like taking little steps to just get through the day. Like, you know, showering or doing laundry, that seems like too much. But so just, I'm just gonna go get a towel, I'm just gonna go lay
Hmm.
out
yeah,
my clothes, like just little things at a time, like to get through that. But thank you for sharing that about the movie. I wrote it down. I definitely want
Yeah,
to
me
watch
absolutely.
too.
it.
I'm going to be watching that. That's great.
It's
And I
a
have a question.
fantastic
It might be a really stupid question, and maybe you said, is this like a voluntary thing that they're doing this, or they're like forced to?
No, so it's a voluntary thing, but like
Okay.
there's
Because they
also
want
this,
the money and like the wish and all that.
but there's also this idea, like there's some propaganda around that as
Oh.
well. Like this idea that no boy that has turned 18 has ever not participated or
Uh,
submitted, and it's a lottery. So
okay.
like there's this other thing happening too that's a little bit
Okay.
political, but no, it is voluntary. But
Okay.
a lot of them I don't think and it's televised.
So it's
That's
like Running Man meets like Hunger Games
Yeah.
type situation. Okay, got it. Yeah.
absolutely.
Hmm.
Yeah, cool.
But it's such for watching, okay, for a movie where you were just watching people walk in a straight line for the most part for 2 hours.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, I did not think watching a movie for 2 hours with people just walking on a road would be that entertaining. But to the point where I've
Sounds
watched it
good.
3 times, like
Yeah, that
Yeah.
sounds good.
it was
Hmm. That's how
probably
you know
one
it's
of
a
my
good
top
movie
fives.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hmm.
It's amazing. But thank you so much for commenting too, Christina. Like, it's Christina, right? I don't have the comments open. I apologize.
Yeah, Christina. I think I called her Christine, so I apologize, but it is Christina.
Thank you for your participation, though. We really appreciate it. And
Yeah, and sharing about
yeah, and
yourself.
sharing. And we definitely understand the struggle. Like,
Yeah.
not being in depression is hard,
Yeah.
to say the least. But
Especially when there's a lot of things to be depressed about.
Yeah.
You
right?
can, wherever you look for it, you can find it. But you know what? In the alternative to that, the same is true about joy, peace, love, all of the
Yep.
things. Is like if you look for it, it's there. And there really are good things that can help you, like songs, movies, like people that can really help get you out when you're feeling stuck. So just
Yeah.
remember that.
I know
In
for
some, but
I was just gonna say, I know for me, it's important to balance like, I like watching current events like news. I really like true crime, so I watch a lot of that stuff, but I have to know like when I need to watch something funny because I can't just consume myself all the time with stuff that's so dark and negative. So then I also, like me and Adam watch a lot of comedy movies, or I put on a lot of like cute animal videos, like, just to kind of balance it out a little bit. Because then if you get, I have gotten too much in that mindset of just watching constant like true crime and political things, and I'm just like angry, and I'm just like, God, the world is sucks and this and that, and then I'm like, okay, I need to chill. yes, there are a lot of bad things, but there are also a lot of good things. So I need to balance it out and watch the good things also. And I've definitely gotten a good balance with that. But yeah, you find you what yeah, basically what you just said, but like whatever you seek, you will find, or whatever. I don't know,
Mhm.
something
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, and I
Anyway.
feel like it's interesting too. Like one thing that me and my partner have very different outlooks on things, right? Like she tends to see a lot of the risk and a lot of the
Mhm.
like potential downside. And that's I've totally been there. Like it takes a lot of practice to I still see the downside. That
Hmm.
never goes away. Like,
Yeah.
but I have to go one step further and think, okay, sure, this is the downside, but what's the possibility?
Yeah.
Like what could happen that's good out of this? And like
Hmm.
one thing that's been huge is just trying to every day find my favorite part of the day. Before I go to bed,
Great.
what's your favorite part of the day today? Like, because there's always going to be a favorite part of the day, whether it is legitimately that moment of getting into bed. Like,
Hmm.
thank God it's over. This is my favorite part of the day. Like, it gives you something like to end your day on a good note. So you're not
Mhm.
just thinking about all the negative things that happen during it.
And
But
also being thankful for the things that you have and the good experiences that you had during that day also
right,
can help too.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I even have like a, not that I do it every day, but I definitely do have like a gratitudes list in my phone, like in my notes app, and it's just like whenever I think of something that like really like lights me up, makes me feel good, like I write it in there. So like something funny that my son did or said, or like something that like just made me laugh, like an inside joke, a TikTok, whatever like the thing is.
Yeah.
And then when I'm feeling really low, it's nice to like go back to those things and just be like, oh yeah, or I do have like the videos that I save on my TikTok are things that I go back to.
Hmm.
So like I'll save really inspirational things or like videos that make me cry laughing. So that I have like a little bank account of things I can go back
Yeah.
to
Hmm.
like lift me up. And that really, really helps. The other thing I would say too is like when I feel in these moments like of grief and loss and all the things, and we talk about like putting one foot in front of the other thing that I remind myself of too is that I have to focus on what I can control. You
Hmm.
Yeah.
know, the way my brain works is I really want to fix it all. I really want to
Hmm.
like overproduce and just be like hyper focused on fixing the boo boo. And really like what I've learned is that you can't. Life just happens and life happens to you a lot of times. And you just gotta have to learn how to adapt and evolve. And the biggest thing with that for me has been learning what I can control, controlling that thing. And sometimes it's getting off the internet, or like you said, turning that documentary off. Sometimes it's, going outside, taking a breath of fresh air, and coming back to what I'm doing. But whatever that is for you, that really does help too, to just to kind of like bring your world down a little bit more to you instead
Hmm.
of being overwhelmed by the bigness of the thing that you're going through. That can help.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Well, and I think too, I'm curious. This is a little off topic, but the gratitude thing. What's interesting is I don't know why, but I get the ick a little bit about gratitude.
I know.
Like for some reason, I
like
don't
the
know if it's a
word.
systemic thing or I don't know.
Yeah, it's like you should be grateful for this thing happening or something. Like that's what
Right.
it feels like. Like,
Mhm.
oh, you have to find the lemonade and the lemons. And I get it. I totally get it. Yeah.
I totally know. Okay, me saying what was my favorite thing for the day. I completely understand that that is parallel to gratitude.
Yeah,
Okay, like,
yeah, it's the same.
but like for some reason,
But then
saying
Amber
what
had to
am I
go and
most
say being grateful
right?
Yeah.
triggered me. Damn
Now
it.
we're done.
I'm like,
I'm sorry.
"Ugh."
Sorry. I ruined it.
Gratitude. Barf. No,
Yeah.
I can talk about my favorite thing
Exactly.
though.
Yeah. Yeah. Same thing.
Yeah,
But yeah, I get what you mean.
Why?
I get
Oh,
Yeah.
there are definitely things like that for me too, that it just something about it just rubs me the wrong way. Like I don't know why. It's just she's like, ugh.
Yeah.
it's a very common thing. It's like affirmations. I really, right?
I can't do an
I saw your
affirmation.
face.
I can't do an affirmation.
Somebody
No.
tells me
I
to
am
just.
good at doing affirmations is an affirmation that I do not do.
Mhm. If somebody's like, "Oh, try to write some affirmations," I'm like, "You don't know me. Like, we're good."
Yeah, and listen, I have tried. I have tried. I have a handheld mirror. Like I have tried to like look at myself and be like, you believe the words that are coming out of your mouth. And
Yeah.
I understand that you fake it until you make it with a lot of those things. Like it is the repetition. Because I don't know if we've talked about neural pathways here yet,
Yes.
but basically the whole idea is that you're ingrained in one way of thinking. And so in order to literally change the way that your brain wires that connection, you have to repeat the process over and over and over again. And I
Yeah.
think about it similar to like paving a new trail in the forest, right? Like you have a trail, you see that it's a trail. To pave a new trail, you have to walk it back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. Um, so that is it. I understand that that's how affirmations work. However, do I feel like an idiot staring at myself in the mirror going, "You will say nice things to yourself"? Like, yes, I do. I feel like a total idiot.
I feel like there is such a barrier to entry because, okay, you can't go 30 years telling yourself you're stupid and then
Mhm.
look yourself in the face and say, "I'm smart." Like, I
Yeah.
am intelligent, I am graceful. And like, no, I think my like entry point is I'm average.
I'm
Like,
okay.
I'm not stupid. How about we do the reverse of that, okay?
That's right.
Like, let's just start there. That feels more comfortable. Like,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm okay. I'm not the scum of the earth like I have told myself I am. Okay?
right. I am a normal
Yeah.
functioning member of society. Like,
Yeah.
I
okay.
definitely relate. Yeah.
Like, set the bar a little bit lower
Yeah.
and just
Yeah.
Yeah, it feels silly. I've tried that too, and I'm just like, ugh. Makes me want to like hit my head against it and be like, this
It's
it's
is
like
no,
the
cringy.
not.
It's
Yeah,
cringy,
cringy.
but
That's
I
the right
get
word.
that
Yeah,
it helps.
cringy.
it
Yeah,
does.
it
It's
does.
like
And
the Mel Robbins thing where she has you high five yourself every morning.
Oh no, no, absolutely not. I
right.
will not be participating in that. Mm-mm.
She wants you to
No,
high
thank you,
five
Mel.
yourself in the mirror.
Mm-mm. No.
Mm,
Margaret's
mm-mm.
passing on
Sweet.
that one.
Oh
But
God. Well, I
Yeah.
just want to say thank you guys so much for listening, for participating, for being there while, we're kind of talking about all these things. Is there anything else anybody wants to say to kind of close out our stream?
right. We
I didn't
decided to
even.
make it an hour instead of 2 hours. We felt like maybe, that might be a little bit more digestible for everybody,
Yeah, coming out
including
the.
us.
Yeah,
Yeah.
coming out the gate with 2 hours is a lot. So we thought we'd tone it back a little bit, do an hour, and see how that goes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, once we start getting more of a following and more engagement, like if we start
Mhm.
noticing that, people have more questions, it might pop back up. But we just want to give space for everybody and like not, hold you hostage for a full 2 hours. If you're like,
Hold
okay,
hostage.
you know what I
And I think
mean.
it's a marathon, not a sprint, right? Like, so we're gonna be here, we're gonna be doing the thing. We're gonna
Hmm.
be here every week. If you think of something, not really sure how to ask, what to ask, how to word it, you can always feel free to send us that email
I
at
know I forgot
T3.
to pin it. I apologize.
Oh,
I
don't worry
just
about it.
put it in there, but I forgot to do
There you
that
go.
Right.
Yeah.
earlier.
Our email for those who cannot see the chat is T3 at proton. Oh, wait, I'm so sorry. T3 live at proton.me. And you can feel free to send a message asking any questions, sharing a story. If you want to keep it confidential, that's also fine. Just make sure you state that. But we're here, we're gonna be here every Tuesday night evening for Pacific time people. And yeah,
And right now's the
could be a
time
service.
because your entire email could be the topic of the next
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
right.
send an email.
It's early enough,
Yep.
Yes,
Next episode
get
could
in
be
now.
all about you if you want.
right?
That's right. A full dedicated 1 hour,
Let's
coaching
break
times
it
3.
down.
Yep.
Exactly. Yeah.
Oh,
Well, thank you all so much. Thank you, Mel and Amber, as always, for
Thank you,
being the best and sharing your vulnerabilities and everything that you do.
thank you,
You as
Margaret.
well, both of you.
Yes.
And
It was great to see you guys. And we'll see
Yeah.
you next Tuesday. Not
Until
like
next
that.
time.
Yeah.
Not like that,
Not, yeah.
but maybe.
But maybe.
Okay.